Good evening, you're watching Trending at 10 p.m. with me, Vishnu Shom. A double header tonight. The Haryana government comes up with what seems to be an unbelievable 100-point questionnaire for parents of school kids. The government wants to know everything from whether kids have genetic defects to whether the parents work in so-called unclean professions. Is this some sort of bizarre new surveillance system? Also on the show, with the IPL shifting out of Chennai, we ask, was it necessary for cricket to have been hijacked by politics? But first, as usual, a quick look at what's trending on NDTV.com and on Twitter tonight. Well, the big stories on NDTV.com. IPL moved out of Chennai amidst the Kaveri protests. We'll be discussing that in our second debate this evening. Also on NDTV.com, in terms of big stories, Rahul Gandhi's sharp tweet weaves together Unnao, the rape case and murder over there, and the Prime Minister's fast. So a lot of tweets and a lot about that, and it's also a headline story and a very tragic story of 257 people killed in a plane crash. They were all soldiers. They died in Algeria. In terms of the big Twitter hashtags, well, it's IPL, CSK versus KKR, though I suspect the thunder of IPL has been stolen, at least today, by the news that Chennai needs to move out of Chennai. And then the other big trend on Twitter has been Mark Zuckerberg. It now appears that Zuckerberg's own details, his personal details, may also have been leaked, may also have been compromised. But first, our top story. And this is really what it's all about. Parents in unclean occupation. Haryana students allegedly asked in a form. In fact, I have some details of that form with me over here. This is what schools were told that they needed to actually sign, get parents to fill. So I've got details of that. And question 36, whether parents engaged in unclean occupation. Point 79, is the child mentally challenged? Does the child have genetic disorders? All sorts of bizarre questions. Joining us now to debate this, we're joined by Desh Ratan Nigam of the RSS, Pawan Khera of the Congress Party, and Aditi Mishra, the principal of Delhi Public School, Gurgaon. Ms. Mishra, let me come to you first. Were you given an option as a school, or were parents given an option to fill up this form, or did they have to do it? Ms. Mishra, can you hear me? All right, we'll try and get the sound fixed on that. Apologize. Terrible way to start a program. But let me just go straight across to Desh Ratan Nigam. So why would the Haryana government be interested in this at all? Why would you want to know about whether a child's mentally challenged, genetic disorder, whether parents are engaged in an unclean occupation? Why would you ask such a thing?
I'm not very sure whether this Haryana government has done this or who has done it.
It is the Haryana government.
I have, because my information goes that nobody is coming out very forthrightly who has brought this form.
No, it is the Haryana Education Minister. We will play out a soundbite of him in a moment from now. I am just trying to understand why anybody would do this.
Let me tell you, before I go back to this form, yes. I was reading about 2011 census.
Yeah.
All this information, health data and everything was collected, income tax information, what kind of occupation you do, and all socio-economic caste data, religion has already been done under 2011.
For a caste census?
No,
for a religious census. What does that have to do with school kids and their parents?
That's what I am saying. What was the need for another information like that? Because this information is already available in 2011 census. Right. Everything has been done, and I don't certainly understand what is this unclean occupation, something which is beyond my fathom.
Okay, just one moment. I want to go back to Aditi Mishra, principal of DPS Gurgaon. Can you hear me now, ma'am?
Yes, I can.
Ma'am, the question I had for you is, when you were given by the state government this form to fill, not you but the parents in your school, did they have an option or was it mandatory?
Well, the school got the form. Parents had to get the form from us, and we were not very sure what was expected, because there was a lot of information which I thought was not necessary for a school to have, and we had to seek that information from parents. So actually we were unclear about what this clean profession and unclean profession is. We were unclear as to why we should know the child's caste, why we should know his religion. So I rang up the administration office to ask details, and to my shock, nobody knew what comprised a clean occupation or an unclean one.
Sorry ma'am, I missed that. What exactly did the school, did the state administration tell you?
We just got the form to fill up and send back to them, and we have a large school, so for us to get the information is also a bit of a
But what
challenge.
if you didn't fill the form? Because I'm sure your parent community would be outraged by some of these questions. Why would any parent want to give their salaries? Why would any parent want to give a lot of their details? I mean, there are so many things over here which are deeply questionable.
Exactly.
So, were you at any stage as a school threatened that look,
So
you
the
would be deregistered or there would be action against you if you did not submit these forms on the basis of what these parents submitted?
That is normally told to us when we don't fill any form which is sent by the government.
Was it told to you on this occasion as well?
Yes, yes.
So, ma'am, this is important. You are one of the largest schools, the DPS chain in all of India, perhaps in all of the world. You yourself run a very big school in Gurgaon, and you were told by the state government that what, we will deregister you if you don't fill up this form. Is that what you were told, ma'am?
They'll be de-recognized if we don't fill up the form and send the information.
And ma'am, what did you tell the school, what did you tell the administration?
We said it will take time because, you know, parents are not ready to give all the information.
Okay, well, ma'am, that
And
is
it
frankly,
takes a long time. We have a large
shocking
school, like I said,
what you're saying. I know what parents would say on this particular thing, but it's outrageous that any state government would actually choose to do this. Mr. Khera, I know you want to respond. Before we do that, let's listen to what Rambilas Sharma, the Education Minister of Haryana, had to say.
हमने कोई नया फार्म नहीं, जो ऑलरेडी व्यवस्था चली आ रही थी उसी के हिसाब से, और आप जानते हैं भाई बच्चे के माँ बाप की जानकारी, उसका जो पोस्टल एड्रेस है, उसका जो परमानेंट एड्रेस है, वो तो मांगा ही जाता है.
No, that's not about permanent address. In fact, he's claimed to say that this is an old form and this detail was par for course. Mr. Khera, is this answer acceptable that it is an old thing, we are just getting basic information?
No, let them show which year did they start. Was it from the past? This is absolutely obnoxious. They are not just asking for personal information like Aadhaar. Supreme Court is yet to decide whether Aadhaar is supposed to be linked with all this or not. Bank accounts, are they doing some racial mapping, genetic mapping? What are they doing exactly? Is this a surveillance state? No, nobody trusts this government. So even if they ask for some inane information, people have doubts now. Under UPA 2, Aadhaar did not raise so much of controversy. Under this government, Aadhaar is also becoming controversial because people don't trust them. Even in the Namo app, if people don't want to give information because that's also getting leaked, what do you do with this? Now, I also draw your attention, Vishnu, to the kind of mindset this government has. That's why especially the Dalits have a problem with this. There is a book in 2007 written by Mr. Narendra Modi himself called Karm Yogi. On page 48-49, he says the Valmikis are into this business profession of cleaning because it's their spiritual duty. Somewhere along the line, they must have thought this is their duty and they are serving society and gods. Now, this is the mentality we are dealing with. So, this information...
No, but that mentality apparently is not unique to this government. I have a 2011 document, apparently from the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Shastri Bhavan, which also refers to it's a centrally sponsored scheme of pre-metric scholarships to the children of those engaged in unclean occupations, and by that they mean scavenging, tanning and flaying, applicable in effect from 2011, whatever it is, tanners, flayers, this, that and the other. Do you think this could actually be a lack of application of one's mind, that they use this bizarre language of the past and pass it on in 2018?
There are two aspects to your question. Whether we should use these words in 21st century, unclean occupation or not, I agree with you. It's a horrible usage to say it mildly. Whether this question needs to be asked to school-going children is a more important question. Why should you know? Why should the government know? That's one aspect. Of course, what do you mean by unclean occupation? And then why do you ask these questions about bimari kya hai, jati kya hai, koi अस्वच्छ काम में तो नहीं लगे हुए. What is this? This is bizarre. This shows the mindset of the government.
Mr. Deshratnigam, why is it important for the state government to know if a child is Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Jain? What difference does it make?
I somehow, if this form has been going on since for a very long time, it should be discontinued.
It's not apparently been going
because
on for
I don't
a very
know,
long time.
Because
I mean, that's what the minister said.
Minister said, but we don't have anybody from the BJP to answer that question.
Principal Mishra, have you been receiving documents like this to be filled by parents in the past as well?
Well, for the past 16 years that I've been a principal, we've had this form been coming which asks us to talk about the child's caste. And I have stoically refused to fill it because I do not think in a secular country like ours, we need to know caste or religion of any child.
Therefore, it should be
discontinued. So,
discontinued.
ma'am, this has happened in the past.
Nobody has hounded me in the past.
What is different? What is different this time around?
In the past, it was only this time is very different because we are expecting to put it on MIS portal, which is an online portal, and there is much more information, not just caste, but religion, what kind of occupation the father has, Aadhaar card of father and mother, bank account of father and mother, bank account of child, passbook. I mean, how are we supposed to collect this information is also a little astounding.
And what for?
No, ma'am, you would also agree, ma'am, that besides the process of collecting this information, why is it necessary? I mean, what if parents are separated?
That's what I'm saying. So
what
in
if
the
parents
past,
are separated or divorced?
So I'll just share with you.
And if the mother or father is away or a single parent, how would you know the other person's Aadhaar card number? Or what that other parent
Precisely.
earns?
So now
and why would that parent want to give that detail? This is just an example of the top of my head.
As an educator, I would also absolutely. So I'm just sharing with you, for the past decade or more, we were just asked to give the caste of the child, how many children you have in SC, ST, and we resisted. We said we don't know. We don't collect this information. It does not matter which caste a child is from. He is coming to get an education, and we are here to educate children.
Sir, so there you have it. I mean, she's seen this for many years. There are details.
Yeah, as per she says, they are asking for much more information that was asked in the past. And,
precisely.
And somehow and you also,
it's all supposed to be put on a portal.
And you also showed me about 2011 documents that about unclean.
That word which is used.
Unclean occupations.
That is a Shastri Bhavan document.
Unclean occupations and things like that. I think this is not warranted. Frankly telling you, this is not warranted. But other than that, genetic disorders and all, other than that, the entire information has been collected in census 2011. All those information I can give you one by one. The health data has been collected in 2011 census, and there are other data.
Assuming that, why would you need it for children?
No, therefore I don't approve. I don't need to approve.
When the government of India does it, census is directed towards what kind of policies the government needs to have in terms of health policies, education policy. Why do you need information on school-going children?
That's what I said. I don't approve
exactly.
of it.
So you can't compare.
I understand that you don't approve
NFHS
of it,
data,
but then why would the state government do something so
data.
utterly regressive?
No, the fact is
that's the question. Why would the government do something so regressive?
I can't answer on behalf of the BJP or the BJP government. I wish there was somebody on behalf of the Haryana government to answer that.
Right. We asked them, they didn't want to appear.
And therefore, I'm saying whatever, except these unclean occupation things like that, most of the data the government probably already has.
Well, it's shocking one way or the other. I don't think anybody would have detail on whether a child is mentally challenged or has a genetic disorder or the income of both parents. What if parents are divorced? There is not even an option over here to deal with that. You know, I mean, there are so many things here which are, besides this unclean occupation, that are so deeply regressive against everything what our education is meant to stand for. Ma'am, one last question to you. I need to move on to my second debate. Will parents be filling this? Because I don't know how parents would be willing to share this kind of detail. A lot of parents may not want to disclose their income. Then, besides anything else.
So we were a little, yeah, I know. So we were a little clever, at the risk of sounding a little immodest. We asked for only information which we thought was relevant, which was their Aadhaar card. It's with the school anyway. When we fill the board form, also we have to give the child's Aadhaar number.
Yes.
We asked for their address. We have skipped the other things which we didn't agree with, that this should be asked off, like the income tax details, or about the income details, or about genetic disorders. We don't think we need to know all that, so we did not ask for it.
I think I wonder
Therefore, it
what...
appears it is optional.
No, and 100
It's not optional.
No, it's not
It's
optional.
not
I
optional.
checked that.
If you
100
see it-
questions, none of which is optional.
No, they were...
No,
they
right
were,
now it's
they
not
were
optional.
optional.
So,
It's
so
not
what
optional.
is
She's
happening
saying that.
on the portal, if I can tell you,
Yes, go ahead, ma'am.
it's not optional. We are choosing not to collect that data.
All right. Well, one way or the other, it's sad, and I don't know what children, I mean, whether they should be exposed to the reality of some of the questions their parents are having to fill up over here. It's a sad reflection of where we stand today. I'd like to thank all of you very much for joining us.